in hand. Truth that rings in everything we do. Red, right and true. Stars and stripes, forever fly. Freedom's voice will never die. Say it proud, say it true. Welcome to Red, Right, and True. Hey!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Red, Right, and True, where we tell you all the truth, all the time, no BS around here. So I'm going to start by introducing my co-hosts. We have Joe Curry,
Good evening. Welcome to the show. My fan club, one of them.
Patriot Box,
Hello, everyone.
Mark White on Zoomland.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Bonnie Scalisi, and our guest today is Ellen Karavis.
Karis.
Karavis.
But that's okay.
Karavis.
I even checked with her before the show. I
It's
should have
okay.
written it down.
All right, everyone, do their
Kravis.
first shot. Ronnie
Karis.
screwed
That's
up.
okay, Karis.
There's an ongoing thing where I do make mistakes, and people take shots if I make mistakes.
Of
So
course.
everybody, who is a drinker, take your first shot. So anyway, Joe is going to introduce the first asset.
Yes, that is going to be asset one. Trump announces the vaccine EO, which is more than great to be there. Asset one, please.
Decades ago, children received only a small fraction of the vaccines required today. In those times, people were much healthier, and of course, the high rates of autism now observed did not exist. So there's a reason for such epidemic rates of autism, and we're going to bring it back to much closer to where it was.
Okay, I am the one that asked Mark to find that video because I have a big history of autism in my family. I have an autistic brother, and at that time it was 1 in 10,000 births. And then I had my firstborn son who was autistic. And then I had in vitro with a donor egg to try to stop the autism. And I had twins, and boy-girl twins, and my daughter is normal, but my son, when he turned 1.5, right after the MMR, stopped looking, stopped speaking. And all the parents that I know in my journey of autism have a similar story with the MMR, and we were always told no, no, no. And it's just common sense as far as we're not saying that we're anti-vaccine. It's just that young babies, new babies, should not be getting all these shots all at once. And also, as they are, getting older and they want the MMR, why are they always trying to put it into them all at once? So what Trump did is an amazing thing because he validated what parents like myself have known all this time. And I can't thank him enough for that, RFK as well. And probably saved a future generation because it's not only just the autism, I believe all of those things. The allergies that are crazy right now, the OCD, all the stuff I believe is related to over-vaccinating them all too much too soon.
Right. And what he did was what the core universal recommendations have changed now to 11 diseases. So it would be for measles, mumps, and rubella, diphtheria, my favorite, diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis, which is a coughing disease, polio, influenza, pneumococcal diseases, human papilloma viruses. Thank God for these commercials on TV and how to pronounce this stuff. And chicken pox. They did make it up to the parents to decide at what juncture a shot for hepatitis A or B would be, rotavirus, meningococcal disease, influenza, and COVID-19.
Right, they changed, what he did was he signed an executive order that changed the vaccine schedule. And as a new parent, you just go along with whatever the doctors tell you to do. You figure they're doctors. And I think if anything, what we've learned from Dr. Fauci is you should ask questions and not be pressured into doing something that you don't want to do. And the funny part is, in the school system, because I was a teacher as well, they would not let you into the school unless your child was fully vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And so it put pressure on the parents because they they have to have their kids go to school. So you have to do this. And what this does is it's going to change the way things have been going and hopefully change the path of a really bad future for a lot of children growing into adults, that if this hadn't happened, it was just going to keep going. The autism and everything that with it would have kept going. So I am so grateful.
And also, you got to hand it to RFK Jr. because he kind of sent that in for childhood safety on that. And also, they've been having, Autism Speaks was writing something back in 2024 about the study of Tylenol during pregnancy. And they were having papers that there was an acetaminophen. I can't believe I pronounced that. Acetaminophen. I'm going to say that again because I could do it. Acetaminophen. The active ingredient in Tylenol, they were saying that might be a cause for autism. I did the research last night, and if you look all around, a lot of doctors or a lot of the FDA and a lot of the AMA, they say there's no correlation.
They always say there's no correlation.
Right, and my thing is this: it's because maybe they're worried about getting grants.
They're worried about getting sued. They're worried about, again, it's all about, follow the money and you'll see. Again, why were these doctors pressuring? I don't want this to be only my show as
All
far
right,
as
so I'm
promoting.
gonna
Other people
I'm
open
going to
up.
jump in here
Yeah,
then.
please.
And basically, when you follow the money, there's a couple of things that I learned, and one is that you cannot sue a vaccine company.
That's correct.
And I said, how could that be? This is America. If someone hurts you, you have the right to sue. Well, what happens is if someone gets hurt by a vaccine, they can't go through the regular court system. They set up there's actually a dedicated court system that's just for vaccines. And it always amazed me, and it didn't make sense. It's like, why would, even if there's a suspicion that giving all these vaccines, and I think that some kids get as many as 70 vaccines, it's obscene.
70 when they're little.
In the first year or two, why would they do this? Why would we take that chance? And I'm going to go down the conspiracy hole here a little bit, but I believe that what the deep state is trying to do is make us dependent on the government. And if you have about a third of your population who's autistic, well, guess what? They're slaves to the government. And, the people are supposed to run the government. The government is not supposed to run us. Someone should remind them of that.
I take umbrage to the word vaccine because when the whole thing with taking the COVID vaccine, and people that were totally for it said, well, it's a vaccine. No, it's medicine. It's drugs. I'm not saying that it's bad or it's good, but it's drugs that you're injecting into your body. So vaccine is just the mechanism. It's just it's the tube that you put the medicine in. And to get to your point, Bonnie, about the children, they're babies. They can't metabolize that kind of medicine. I mean, I think we're an over-medicated population to begin with. I'm not saying some medicines aren't good. They are, and they've saved people's lives. But we are way too reliant on that, and something like the mumps and polio vaccines that have been around for a long time, that's fine. There's a proven track record. But for some of these other newer ones where they're just pushing it, and like you said, all at the same time, I mean, it's just think about giving your child, 7 doses of Tylenol or 7 different pills. It doesn't work. I mean, it's unhealthy, and not to mention what all these medicines do to your liver and other parts of your body. So, they say follow the data. Well, the data is that when they started shoving all of these different medications into one vaccine, autism increased. It's going to be awesome to see what the data is going to show in 10 years, if that is. And if it doesn't, then that wasn't the problem. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We might actually see a dip because during COVID, a lot of children were not immunized. So there may be some information that comes out sooner than later. just by virtue of that. If there's a dip in autism because of the lack of vaccinations, I think we're going to see it. I think we're absolutely going to see that.
Well, it's also common sense. Like any new mom knows that as far as common sense goes, like you were saying, what's the rush? Why are a brand new baby, hepatitis B
Right.
to a brand new baby?
Babies could get sexually transmitted diseases.
HPV. I know with the pediatricians were pushing my sisters with the girls
Is that
to
the
get
12-year-old? When they're 12, they wanted them to get that?
Nine.
Nine. I fought the doctor on that.
It's like,
I
what?
said- after my two kids were diagnosed as autistic, and my daughter was my only normal child, they tried to tell me that she had to have this vaccine, and finally I said, absolutely not. I also heard a bunch of people talking where I work, and somebody knew someone who had that vaccine, and after the vaccine became paralyzed. It was a normal girl. She was playing basketball. She got the shot, and the next day she was paralyzed. So I said to the doctor, "No way." I went along. I lost 2 children because of this. I mean, I love them, of course, but it's a road I wouldn't wish on any parent. And I am not doing this to my daughter. And they're like, I said, when she's 18, if she wants to get this vaccine, oh, it's too late by then.
Right.
I said, I don't care. I don't care if it's too late. I'm not going to give it to her. And that's the one good decision that I did make. So
What does that mean? It's too late.
what, Mark?
I said, what does that mean? It's too late. Like I don't get that.
Well, if we could hold that thought, we're going to be taking a break, and Red, Right, and True will be back in 3 minutes. See you then.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land. I've been there, I looked, I tried to see. Here I am in New York City, watching a nice sunrise. Not really. I'm in the warehouse. I'm telling you about a conservative organization, not the AARP. Loser, left wing, forget about it. This is where you need to be. You get everything conservative menus. America.us/TAFW.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just 2 entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW. Making travel great again.
Hey Patriots, we're excited to bring to you Sugar Creek Goods, all natural quality skincare products brought to you by great patriots like we are here. That's why we brought this into the America First Warehouse. All these great natural products are amazing, and you can get them on our website and go right to www.sugarcreekgoods.com/TAFW. These are phenomenal products. I love them all. And this one right here is for Patriot Pup. Thank you so much for supporting us.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Good evening and welcome to Red, Right and True. I am Joe Curry. This is Ellen Karras. That is the Patriot Box. That is Bonnie Scalisi. And we have Mark White out there. And what we would like to do is we would like to play Asset 2, continuing on our discussion on vaccines. Women would like to keep on the vaccine schedule. Asset 2, please.
The vaccine schedule. I will be keeping my daughter and any future children on the American Academy of Pediatrics vaccine schedule. That's my hot take of the day. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, I just want to say something. I know that it's going to start coming out as far as just because it came from the Trump RFK administration that these moms are going to do the opposite, even though it will possibly save their children and their children's future. Because when you talked about the Tylenol, do you remember what happened? All the TikToks of the pregnant women taking tons of Tylenol, that's what started happening. Mark, you'll have to be the expert for us as far as if they start, asking the doctors to give them every immunization, that they can.
They probably will. I mean, I don't get it. So well, my question was, why is it too late?
I think
when you're 18, if you're still alive.
It was so weird. It's a good question. It had something to do with them having sex. And I'm like, my daughter is 9 years old.
Well, I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's the vaccine sort of like almost builds an immunity. So if you give it to them when they're young, so by the time they have sex when they're 12, according to these people, it'll be okay. But it was some, I mean, to me, it was a con job. But, these things, look, I guess if a parent wants to do that for their children, it's optional. I just feel like some of these things are optional, but unfortunately, they're people. I don't want. I know we use the term sheep a lot, but it's like they're sheep. They don't even do the research or just at least just step out for a second and just think about it.
You know what a big problem is today? People work two jobs. I mean, the mother works, the father works.
Right.
They pick up their kids from home. Maybe them have a side hustle, and you get a home, and now you got to help them with their homework. You got to take them to soccer. You got to make dinner, and people don't. They just turn on whatever news source they look at, and they just take everything at face value because that's all they have time to do. People such as ourselves, I mean, this is what we do. We need to look into this. So if they're saying, well, the government recommends that, this, that, and the other, and CNN said, they're going to do it because you don't have any other time to look at it. But people need to take the time to look and listen and see what's going on. And I think that the left knows that they don't, and they keep pushing their agenda, and it gets kind of crazy. Asset 6, please, Bruce Blakeman.
And so, as folks ask, if and when we win this race, how are you going to beat Mike Rogers and their money? I want you to remind them that if we come through this, when we come through this, inshallah.
Well, obviously, it wasn't Bruce Blakeman. But
the opposite.
Stupid rushing through things during lunch. But basically, it is up to discussion on where the DSA is getting. Also, really quick with Bruce Blakeman, we have to continue. We're having a discussion before the show on support of Bruce Blakeman. We need to get him elected. People that are watching the show upstate, you have to get the word out. And the good news, which correlates into this, is Blakeman is gaining ground on Hochul. And it's very important that we get that because we need Blakeman to win. And basically what they were saying on the surmountable, people don't know him upstate. We need to keep him going. The voter sentiment issues is the issue starting at affordable housing, safety, addressing undocumented integration. Believe it or not, no matter what CNN says, that is a major concern. A character trait where he seems more believable than Hochul, who was an absolute liar.
Well, we need him to rein in Mandami.
Right.
So a vote for Bruce Blakeman is a vote against Mandami and all of the changes that he wants to do to the city. And, Long Island is wonderful, but I've seen the pattern that what happens in Manhattan, in the city, does trickle down to Long Island. So you're not safe. You think you're safe, you're not. And you better get out and vote like your life depends on it, because
It does.
it does.
It does. And also, and like, obviously, that was L said.
Yeah. What is he running for again?
He is running for.
They're all over the place now,
in
running
Minnesota.
for everything.
They're like roaches.
Yes.
Yeah, and these DSA candidates are starting to gain ground.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
DSA, does that stand for dumb, stupid asses?
It does. It should.
It should.
And talk about dumb, stupid asses. That person that I argue with on Facebook, right before Showtime, posted on my page that Mayor Mandami has got a 67% approval rating. I find that hard to believe. And I would like to find, and this is the thing with polls, because I haven't had a chance to get back to her, because I got to do this. But the thing about it is that where is the sample coming from? Where is the sample size?
You know that those polls are always spot on. I mean, they had it right with Hillary, they had it right with Kamala. The polls, this is science.
Oh, yeah.
And they're always right.
Oh, yeah.
So can I just say something
Sure.
about with someone on this panel that lives in Manhattan and that grew up in Manhattan?
Yes, of course. You have
what it's been like. This guy every day. And he's relentless, and he's young, and he has a lot of energy, and he has a lot of money behind him. Every day, it's a new thing. Last week, it was the pied-à-terre tax. It's the grocery stores. It's taking away another car lane so that nobody has a car, and I don't know where all these Ubers and Lyfts are going to go
Wait.
from.
He's taking away another car lane?
Yep.
Yeah, every day it's a new car lane. It's making a new public space.
And here's the thing about these car lanes being removed and these bike lanes being put in. I don't want to drive in the city anymore. It is so dangerous in these bike lanes, because what happens is these guys have all the ion battery bikes.
It's an electric bike. It's like a car. It's like a motorcycle.
30 miles an hour. Now, the problem is that you're trying to obey the traffic law. They're in the bike lane. They're not obeying the law. They could care less. Now, if you're making a left onto a side street, you've got a truck blocking you. You've got people that you do see coming by, and you saw the people. And if you do see people, go, all right, there's going to be people that are going to be coming out in a second. I got to watch them. There's a bike coming at 30 miles an hour that you have no idea is coming, and you hit him, and guess who's getting sued for everything they have? Me.
It wasn't that long ago where in Queens, Forest Hills area, where they did the bike lanes, and the small businesses ultimately closed down because there wasn't, in Queens, Forest Hills area, there was never great parking, but if you needed to run in, pick something up at a takeout place, they went out of business, and they said it was these bike lanes limited the parking that much more and put an end to small business.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do.
Wait. I got another question.
Sure.
Since what's going on with the congestion pricing? Because that hurts poor people.
No.
And you would think that Mondami would get rid of that. Because it benefits rich people.
No, they love that. Anything, tax. That's what they want to do. They want to take people's money away. They want to get rid of anybody, and they say billionaires and millionaires. Anybody that makes over $200,000, $250,000 is going to leave the city. And the congestion pricing is such a scam. It's completely illegal. It is a tax. It's not a toll. And that was more on Hochul. That was her thing. Because remember, she took
it away right before the election.
The second she was elected, she put it back. She's another one, and I believe Bruce Blakeman will take it away. So that's on the governor level. That's not on the mayor. And believe me, I'm the last person to defend that guy. But that's actually not his thing. He could yell and scream about it. That would be nice, but he's not going to do that because it's taking money out of the people's pockets, and he loves that.
By the way,
you see where I'm going, right? The congestion pricing hurts the very people that they're trying to. The same people who they're making the grocery stores for, congestion pricing hurts them. So I don't understand how they put all that together. Like, somebody explain it to me.
It's almost like they're anti-American, anti-New York, and they're trying to turn this-
Anti-capitalism.
and they're trying to turn this country into a communist state.
And the thing
Right,
bring
right.
socialism.
To take your money away and then rely on the government.
Right, now,
That's
the
exactly
trucks
it.
that come in that have to make deliveries, they have to pay this congestion
Yes.
pricing. What do you think? The trucking company's going, well, we'll work on a 3% margin. No, they're going to raise the price of bringing the goods in, which is going to raise the price at the grocery store. Mendami, who thinks he's Mr. D'Agostino with the grocery stores here, doesn't he realize that that's going to, and like I said, the grocery stores work on a 4% margin. So meanwhile, you're going to work on a 1% margin? Are you kidding me? It's just amazing how these people, this kid, I'm going to call him the kid, thinks he knows so much and doesn't know a damn thing.
Well, if one day he gets a job, he might learn some of this stuff.
No, he's a puppet. He's a puppet. It's all coming from the top, or the bottom, someplace. And as far as those trucks go, they're not paying $9. They're paying like $200.
Yeah.
It's
true.
completely different. And supermarkets, they run. That's a great point, Joe. They run on a very, very small margin as it is. But it's everybody. It's the small businesses, and that is the backbone of America, and that's what they hate.
Well, again, I'm piggybacking off your point of the small businesses. Isn't it interesting that when COVID came around and it was supposed to be so contagious that they shut down the mom and pop stores, but the big chain stores were allowed to be open so that masses of people would come in to contact with each other to buy things.
As long as you walk down the
As long
lane
as
the right
you
way.
follow the arrow.
Make sure you follow the arrow.
Right.
Don't
So it's again, it goes back to your point. They want to shut down capitalism, which is the mom and pop shops, only have monopolies left, and we as consumers have to take what they give us.
Or government run, because he's
government run.
really, really into government
Yes.
running.
Which,
the
we all know how
government
well that
doesn't
works.
run anything well. All they're supposed to do is protect us.
And Red, Right, and True will be back in 3 minutes. Join us. We'll see you then.
Me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic place in all the land. Hey, I'm here getting cleansed up. You know why? Because Sugar Creek Goods is a great place by patriots, making patriot soaps, making me smell nice. And that's what's nice. Who wants to go down the street and smell of somebody bad in New York City? Hey, by the way, what's this thing for?
250 years ago, a nation was born, built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
You know what is more disappointing than Gino Bisconte, everyone?
My sex life?
No, bad cell service. Let's make fun of Gino. Oh wait, he's here.
Well, speaking of the opposite of his sex life, these people have towers that are huge and they're everywhere. And while you're traveling, you can use these huge towers. PatriotMobile.com/ it bends to the right. I don't have to tell you. TAFW. And then you can talk about me behind my back.
Patriotic people doing patriotic things.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
Agara coffee. Why? Because it increases focus.
This is T-Mac, the Patriot, and I love Patriot products like Sugar Creek Goods. Check it out today on our website.
It's me, Joe the Box.
And I'm John the Blanket with the America First podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino podcast coming to you from the America First warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
The America First warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Patriot Box. I'm here at Red, Right, and True, and I'm going to do a Patriot Box history moment. We're going to talk about taxes. So I'm going to give you history, really the very short version. Originally, when we founded this country, it was based on we didn't like taxation without representation. All right, that's where it started. So we formed our own country. Turned out to be the greatest one ever in history of the world of mankind. Now, as far as taxes go, the original taxes that started back, I believe it was the 16th Amendment, that was only going to tax the richest people in the country, and it was only going to be 1%. All right, so apparently I'm very rich because I'm paying way more than 1%. As far as sales tax started out, it was a 1% temporary tax. Well, in New York State, it's almost 10% of your bill is sales tax. Again, taxes don't go away. They start with, we're not taxing you, we're going to tax the rich. And you know what? Either the tax goes up, and the standard for rich all at once becomes the middle class and you people. And how many times do we have to be fooled by this?
Well, also, I just wanted to say, it's bad enough to be taxed on top of tax on top of tax. If you really thought the government was doing something important or positive with those taxes, and what we're finding out is there's a lot of fraud that's being uncovered. So basically, you're lining people's pockets, from Medicare, all these different programs that are supposed to help people, and they're not going to the people. So it's bad enough to be taxed, and then to note that when they make a program and they are writing a check for a huge amount of money, it's not their money. They don't care.
The waste is palpable.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a CPA, and I remember from when I started, back when I was studying for the CPA exam, and the teachers were saying how, we're talking about Medicare fraud from back then. This has been going on for like 50 years. So, I mean, I was thrilled with the Trump administration to really, really talk about it at the forefront, because you never heard it, we certainly never heard the Biden administration talk about that. And there's no accountability, nobody goes to jail, nobody gets penalized. It's absolutely incredible. And you are taxed 7 ways from Sunday. And you know what happens too? When you take your last breath, when you're on your deathbed, they come back for one more, okay? The estate tax, which if you listen to Hochul and you listen to all the Dems and everything, they want to increase that as well. So they don't want anybody to be left with anything. But by the time that you die, you've paid tax on that money 70,000 times over.
And the interesting thing is, I had to settle my mother's estate years ago. What happens is you get the life insurance checks, and you're like, wow, this is a lot of money. However, you're writing checks $9,000, $12,000, $14,000. You're settling your parents' debts. You're paying for the funeral. And it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And what happens is the government sticks in, and now they want their cut of the money. Suffolk County, when I was the last bit of stuff I had to do to settle the estate was a filing fee at Suffolk County to file all the forms. And my lawyer goes, all right, you got one more. And he goes, listen, don't lose your temper. But I go, what's the amount? He goes, it's a $500 fee. $500 to do the final, to close out the estate. They have their hands in it all the way. They don't let out. Patriot Box, I got a question. You mentioned when the federal income tax started, I believe that might have been under the Roosevelt administration. Okay, now the thing with when that started was Roosevelt did that because he wanted the same thing as all these Democrats want. We're going to tax the rich. We're going to tax the rich. We're going to tax the rich. What happened was the rich found loopholes and they came under a shortfall. So what happened? They started to tax the middle class. And it hasn't stopped. And it's not going to stop because it's going to increase because they haven't changed the tax codes, I believe. They're still going to find the loopholes and it's still going to fall back on the middle class. It will not end.
Do you remember that Trump, when he was debating Hillary Clinton and they asked him about, do you use the tax loopholes? And he goes, of course I do. So does she, so does he. I mean, it was again, that was his brilliance of exposing what everyone knows, but no one would say out loud. And they tried to get him in a gotcha moment, and he turned it on them.
And the amazing thing, I'm sorry.
But I think that there is a misnomer with the tax loopholes, okay? First of all, these are IRS codes. If you're doing something illegal from a tax perspective, it's illegal. Right. So if there is a tax benefit like depreciation, oh, how horrible. It's an accounting concept. Yes. Buildings depreciate. Equipment depreciates. Giving incentives for research and development, all that is good. Tax incentives are good. Why do you think we have so much filming now in New York City and in some of these in places like Georgia? Because of tax incentives. So people talk about, oh, the rich, they talk about the loopholes like the rich are doing something wrong.
Right.
And
That's
by the
what
way,
they were implying to him.
Right. And number one. Number two, all this like putting money in a Cayman Island account, now with technology, that doesn't really exist like it used to if you're trying to hide money someplace. Very, 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 very difficult. But let me just say one other thing that is so important, and everybody on the left always talks about this. They want to tax capital gains on your unrealized gains, right?
Oh, that's right.
Okay,
that's right.
That was Kamala's big thing, and I'm like, okay, first of all, that's disgusting, and that's illegal. But what happens? Let's just say you have a stock that goes up $50, and it's on paper. She wants to tax you on that $50 gain. What happens when it goes down? Do you get to take a loss? Aside from the fact that the capital market system would be a complete disarray if that were to ever happen. That everybody has to pay attention to that.
Yes.
Yes, they'll let you take that loss up to $3,000 and then you can carry the rest forward. But let me put it in very simple terms. When they talk about capital gains, it's one thing, maybe some of us aren't invested in stocks or whatever, but if you own a house, basically, if your house has appreciated, you bought a house for $500,000 and now it's worth $900,000, they want to tax you on that. They say, oh, you have a $900,000 house, so we're going to tax you on that $400,000. Well, you don't have that money. The money is in the investment. Until you liquidate it, there's no money to be had. So Bonnie's house, since I've met her, has gone up considerably, like most housing in the United States over the last 7 years. And what they want to do when they talk about taxing the capital gains that have not been earned yet, they're talking about the equity in your house as it goes up. They want their money now.
It's your assets, and that $3,000, you can wipe your mouth with it. Okay, I mean that $3,000, that carry forward, that's been on the book since like 40 years. What's a $3,000 loss anymore?
Nothing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It just dawned on me. We're gonna take the value of this projected value of your home, and we're going to tax you on it. But meanwhile, Trump goes to mortgage something and he put an inflated value on it, and they're going to bring him into court because he did an inflated value. Something that's done all the time. So he did an inflated value to get the loan. A loan which the bank, has anybody bought a house that you haven't gone under underwriting? The bank would have it, the bank didn't have a problem with that. So meanwhile, he overinflated it and that's against the law. But meanwhile, when you're coming for my money, that's not a problem.
Absolutely.
Those loans that Trump took out for his real estate, he paid the banks back. The banks were not the ones that went after him. He paid every dime of interest.
They made a profit, and they would do it again.
And the bank said it was fine.
No victim.
There's no problem here. The bank said no. Everything was legit. This is what we got our money. Everything is for everybody. Everybody won. Why is there a problem?
It was made up. It was made up
by Letitia James because she. was on a vendetta. It was on a vendetta to get Trump.
And
Well, maybe we could learn this stuff in the Leering centers that are taking place in the Midwest, because obviously something's not right.
And she, I believe, had committed mortgage fraud herself.
Yes.
Well, that's why
Once again, when they accused Trump of Russian collusion, they were doing that. When they accused Trump of mortgage fraud, they were doing that. It's like they project what they do onto, others, and it seems to be working, unfortunately.
Letitia James was an expert on mortgage fraud, so when she's going to trump up charges, basically she stayed in her element of what she knew best.
That was such a scam, and the banks have auditors, and you get third-party appraisals. It was all done legitimately. It was just, like you said, a vendetta, and that was her campaign promise to get Trump.
There was no victim. Everyone made out on that deal. So a victimless crime. People profited, would do it again. But Letitia James, she married her father or something like that.
That's Elon Omar.
That was her brother. Her brother.
All right, we're getting them all. We're getting the family members mixed up.
The bank. You're talking. Look, if Trump goes, I need to mortgage a business. I gotta go. You know where I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go to the Dime Bank in Levittown. They're gonna go there. They're small. But no, he's going to, a major
reputable
bank.
Yes.
That it's their job to look into this stuff, and they found nothing wrong.
Banks are regulated as well.
I believe they have lawyers, accountants, and auditors.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's the whole interesting thing about the left and the thing. All businesses care about is making money. You know what, left? They're supposed to. That's their job, to worry about making money. You know why? Because they're shareholders. And you know what the shareholders care about? Get this, making money. They're supposed to make money. You don't understand that, and that's why you want government to run everything, because the government just squanders everything. And what do? Oh, we're out of money. What do we raise taxes?
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And they want to keep raising the taxes, and until until people start doing something about it. I mean, like Patriot Box was saying. The Tea Party was about they didn't like getting taxed, and they wanted to leave England because England wanted to take all the money.
Yeah,
we're getting to that point. I mean, we are living to. I remember when I was working, I couldn't believe how much money was taken out of my check to go to taxes, and I really barely had anything left. The check looked so big, and then when it came to the reality of it, this was taken out, this was taken out, this. I had no money left. I was wondering if I could afford McDonald's.
Yeah.
New York State has become just it's thievery, and this is why Florida.
Red, right, and true. We'll be right back. We'll see you then. Sorry.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. People at the warehouse are always asking me, Gino, you show up smelling like freedom every day, even though you live in the cesspool that is the socialist New York City. How do you do it? Sugar Creek Goods. Sugar Creek Goods is made by Patriots and has a full line of incredible products, including soaps and lotions, and even this that you use for your dog, Patriot Puffs. My wife makes me use that. But people, please, get your own. Go to sugarcreekgoods.com/TAFW. See ya.
Hey, Paul, I was having a pillow fight with Gino's wife.
Me too.
Yeah.
She's
I
not
was
supposed
there.
to stay
I
up that
remember.
late.
I have the video. And now let me tell you, talk about soft. When I think soft pillows, I think of other than Gino's wife, mypillow.com, because these are the best pillows you're ever going to get. You can go to mypillow.com /TAFW. Go now, get your My Pillow right now.
The America First Ultra MAGA store for all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA store.
Hey, Paul, you know what's more disappointing than Gino Bisconte? Bad cell service.
Here, I can hear you.
What?
I can hear you right here. It's not like you're on your cell phone talking about me.
You know what? We could have called each other, is what you're going.
Using Patriot Mobile?
Just put it in our group text.
Which works all over the country. And how would they get it if they wanted to be red, white, and blown away? Does that work?
Smash the little black box.
Huh? PatriotMobile.com/T.
You know, I got to tell you, a lot of my followers are asking, hey, Midnight, where are you getting all that energy from? I say, you want to know the truth? I take about 25 milligrams of Adderall a day. But that eventually ends, and then that's where a Gara coffee comes in. I start drinking this stuff, and it boosts my energy. It shoots me right through to the moon. If you're not drinking a Gara coffee and you need that extra boost during the middle of the day, I'm telling you right now, get this into your system, and I promise you that it will absolutely take you to a whole nother level. Midnight, I am out. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Red, Right, and True. This is our last segment with Joe Curry, Patriot Box, Mark White, and our guest, Ellen Karras. And I wanted to talk about Scott Lebedo, who just recently had a heart attack while he was screaming at Mandami at, I believe it was a police function. And I just, Scott Lebedo is like the ultimate patriot, and anybody who doesn't know who he is should educate themselves about him, because he's been MAGA before MAGA was MAGA. And he, when he finally came out of his heart attack, his first picture was giving the finger, which I loved.
I love that too, yeah.
And then,
That's very Scott.
very Scott. And then what he did was he hired a plane to make the airplane go around Manhattan, and it was an FU to Mandami, saying he doesn't want him at 9/11. There's a lot going on with that. His most recent video was saying that, because he said if you are, the families don't want you there, and the families, people like me don't want him there, because to me, it represents that we have forgotten. And it's the
Have we
ultimate-
ever forgotten? We have. I mean,
We have.
It's the people that he hangs out with, the people that are close to him that say things. And that's what the insult is.
The fact that they cheered when the towers came down, that's pretty much an insult.
His bestie, Hassan Piker, said that we deserved it. I mean, I can't wrap my head around it. He needs to denounce all. If you don't,
He doesn't denounce it. He believes that.
Well, that's the problem.
And he's trying to play on the down low, because he's the mayor right now. Like, he'll say nice things about people, and then he'll support people like that. That's who he truly supports.
And think about this. The people that voted for him and support him are people in their 20s, early 30s, who, when 9/11 happened, have really no recollection or weren't born.
Right.
They don't know. They were playing on ABC this morning. They were playing some phone calls from that day, and it's heart-wrenching. And these kids need to listen to that, and they need to see what happened that day. They won't understand it like we did, because we lived through it. But they need to understand the impact on this thing that brought our nation together, and this event, and how it can never happen again. And we are voting in people that want this again.
And voting them in power.
And people are still dying. It's not over just because it's over. And there is enough footage. This isn't like Hiroshima in 1950. We just see sort of that one picture of the bomb. This is current. I mean, you go down there and you can still see everything is rearranged. Nothing is like that it was. And for some of those 20 and young people, there are people that are their age, their contemporaries, where their parents died.
Yeah. If I was a school superintendent, boy, would I come under scrutiny for this. If I was a school superintendent, I would say maybe 6th grade. It would be mandatory for everybody in the school. They have to go to a field trip. There's a field trip to Ground Zero, and they need to go to the Ground Zero Museum and see what's going, because they have no clue. They need to see
But the
what
left
happened that
doesn't
day.
want them to know.
Oh,
They
God,
don't-
no.
They want to keep them in ignorance, and that's exactly what they are, and that's why they support somebody like Mandami. It's really sad. And then if you try to have a conversation with them, they are not open to a conversation. They just have, memorized phrases. They want to be with their peer group, and life is not as easy for them as they think it should be, and they think this change of redistributing wealth is going to benefit them. They don't understand what communism is.
Well, I
'cause
blame it on their birthing person.
Well, speaking of women's rights that these people have, I would like to go to Asset 7, where Peter Griffin calls out the hypocrisy of the left.
One Nation leader Pauline Hanson has sparked outrage in the Senate, walking in wearing a clothing item worn by Muslim women.
She is disrespecting a faith.
A faith? The same one that wouldn't even let you be where you are right now just because you're a woman? I genuinely find it baffling when women glaze Islam, but nothing baffles me more than when I see a woman leader who identifies as Muslim. Because Islam doesn't see women as leaders. It sees women as domestic labor, and this isn't my opinion. Your own prophet said it clearly when he heard about a queen. I never will succeed such a nation as makes a woman their ruler. So tell. Does an ideology that says this about women deserve respect? Now don't twist this. I'm not defending the woman who pulled that burqa stunt. My focus is the irony of hijabi leaders. Under actual Islamic law, you will never find a hijabi woman as a political leader. She exists only under secularism. Imagine this. You get your freedom from secular law. You get your power from secular law. You get your voice from secular law. And then you turn around and glaze an ideology that would strip all of that from you just because you're a woman. I see no difference between Kanye wearing a KKK uniform and a Muslim woman leader wearing hijab. Because the KKK doesn't see Kanye as anything but a slave, and Islam doesn't see women as anything more than domestic labor. You don't celebrate your oppressors. When you do that, you trivialize the suffering of the people who were crushed by them just for being what you are. So ask yourself, does every ideology deserve respect just because it's called a faith? If it's Islam, never.
I love that, but there's a lot to unpack in that. But my first question is, why does the Family Guy have his face masked over?
Copyright.
Oh, the copyright.
Oh, yeah, good Patriot box. That's nice, yeah.
Or he doesn't want Islam coming after him.
Right. He doesn't want them to, because if you dare say anything against them, then they come after you. But absolutely, I saw a meme or a picture of two people side by side, a nun that was wearing her habit and a Muslim woman, and they're like, if you're upset with this, how dare you be upset with this? A comparison of the two is outrageous.
Yeah.
Completely outrageous. And in the comment section, everybody was putting their 2 cents in. I came in. I go, well, the first thing is the nun is not going to blow up people. That's the first thing. And the nun is not going to raise children that are rewarded for blowing up people and killing people.
If I could jump in, if we could go to Asset 5, because it pertains to a majority of the things we were talking. If we go to Asset 5, the vaccines have mercury and aluminum.
Since you talk about being health and wellness minded, what are your thoughts on vaccinations for your daughter and infant vaccination in general?
These vaccines, such as Hep B, copious amounts of mercury and aluminum, like 300 times the FDA recommended amount that adults should be taking or ingesting. And you're suggesting that within minutes of my child being born, this is what they receive? That didn't make sense to me, especially when there's this push to get away from deodorant with aluminum in it. But you want me to give a vaccine to my child with aluminum? I'm not allowed to eat fish. Well, they say you're not allowed to eat fish when you're pregnant because it has high levels of mercury, yet you want me to give my child a vaccine with incredibly high levels of mercury? Just didn't make sense in my mind. She got nothing. She is the happiest, healthiest baby. Never sick, never sniffles. My sister has a child. He's about 1.5 years. She's very conservative as well, but I think believed her doctors, right, as we should be able to do. And so her son got the recommended child newborn vaccines. He has every allergy under the sun, allergic to egg, allergic to dairy, water, sun, and grass, okay? Allergic to everything. That has not been the case with our daughter. It just hasn't. The happiest, healthiest baby, smiling all the time.
Very telling. That's why I wanted to get to that. I'm sorry if that's why I wanted to get that clip, because basically it's another couple of things that she's bringing up that we really didn't touch on, which is also concerned, and how young they are giving the child that, and how an adult at that level shouldn't tolerate that, but they're giving it to a toddler.
Well, you know, I'm going to go back and a lot of people know this, some people don't. Bonnie has her youngest children are twins, a boy and a girl. One of them is autistic, one of them is not. Now, again, this goes back to the vaccines, too fast, too much, too quick. It's pretty well known that the immune system of male babies develops slower than their counterparts as female babies. And
that goes on during life, too.
That goes on.
It does.
Well,
It's always
that's next week's show. But as far as the point in Bonnie's own life, she saw it right before her eyes, where she has a daughter who's got a master's degree, and her other son got vaccinated the same as the daughter, and he has autism. I mean, you know, it's sort of pretty obvious.
I don't want to poo-poo again, you know, modern medicine and some of the really good things that it's done. And I think that when we start talking about vaccines and stuff, we really need to decipher so we can make our point about that. And I think, like I said it before, the vaccines that have been around for a very long time that our parents took, you know, the rubella, the mumps, the polio, because look, in third world countries where they don't have vaccines, there are these diseases that still exist where we've pretty much eradicated them. So I think when we talk about it, though, we should, because I think
we're not saying
right.
Avoid all vaccines. We're just saying use common sense and spread them out. And one of the things that, as Patriot Box was saying,
or
go ahead.
Go,
Mark.
Why is there mercury and other toxics in there in the first place? Why can't it just be a pure vaccine?
Right.
They have taken the mercury out. The newer vaccines do not have the mercury. But if you look at the special education classes across the country, it's usually almost all boys, and maybe out of like a class of a whole thing of boys, there'll be one girl. And Patriot Box is spot on in that at the young age, the women are born with a more intact immune system and are able to fight things off where babies are not. And that's why you see, go look at go into any elementary school and you'll see. And thank you, everybody, and thank you, Ellen, for being our guest. And we'll be back next week on Red, Right, and True. And thank you so much for tuning in.
Have a great night. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
See you.
For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be. America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see. A symbol of hope, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free in the America First Warehouse.